In general, we are all craving slow and good. And I think that's a response to all the years of always being on the go and the push of consumerism that we're constantly bombarded with, and the bigger and better and wanting more, and the fact saying that you need more that you're getting from media, social media, from ads, from commercials, from all over the place, telling you that you need more and we have to be on the go, and your life is boring if you spend more time at home than you do out and about. And I think that comes from a place, well, that desire for slow and good. I think a lot of us possibly had that in our childhood to some extent for some length of time. And we're starting to see in our children the outcome of continuing in that. And so there is a need for a change of a course, and you are craving just something different. And so that's why you're listening to this episode today. So in general, yes, we are craving some slow and good, but today I want to specifically talk about how we can create that within our homes, within our family, so that you can just have a good holiday season for your homeschool family. I'm going to share some of my personal stories, but a lot more just ideas for you, questions for you to think about and to ponder so that you can create a holiday season that brings about that goodness that you want. Welcome to Little by Little Homeschool Podcast, where we talk anything and everything homeschool and all that encompasses the homeschool lifestyle. I'm your host, Leigh Nguyen. I'm a mom who never intended to homeschool, and suddenly I am here, 14 years later, with 2 homeschool graduates and 1 more to go. No matter where you are in your homeschool journey, Little by Little Homeschool seeks to empower and encourage you to carry out this amazing calling of home educating and discipling your children. It's not always easy, but I'm here to walk alongside you because I promise that these years are worth all of your effort. Grab that load of laundry that needs folded, settle in at the kitchen sink to wash those dishes, or tie up those walking sneakers, and let's get into today's topic. This Christmas season, you have questions about what does it look like for your family and for homeschool, and I do have some answers for you. I have done a couple handfuls of episodes about Christmas. And last week I sent out in my newsletter, my 2-Tip Tuesday newsletter, a resource that has all of those titles listed. So you can simply just click on there and go straight to the episode that is going to answer the question that you have or fill the need that you have for right now and get things figured out. If you did not get that newsletter, well, hint, hint, you need to get onto that list. The link is in the show notes. But I also included in the show notes the link to that resource. So if you have questions about Christmas and how does that look, how can you do this well, beyond listening to today's episode, I want to encourage you to check out that really quick and easy resource for you so that you can get those answers and give you possibly some listening while maybe you're traveling for the Thanksgiving season this week. Now, when I say holiday here in the title episode and in general, I'm including Thanksgiving, which yes, this is the week of Thanksgiving and there's a lot of prep that's gone into it. So I believe that we have been in the holiday season already. So I'm including Thanksgiving, Christmas, and New Year's. So when I talk specifically about Christmas, I will say Christmas or New Year's or Thanksgiving. But when I say holiday, it's kind of the whole kit and caboodle. So basically, it's probably lasts about 6 to 8 weeks, give or take some time. And so I just kind of want to put those parameters and help you to understand what I'm talking about. So the holidays can be quite different. I mean, what you do for Thanksgiving can be different than what you do for Christmas and for New Year's. You might have specific traditions and specific things that you do and food that you eat and where you go for those different specific holidays. But in general, let's just look at this whole 6, 7, 8 weeks that is the holiday season, and how can we create just a slowness and a goodness so that we can really just soak in this time. We can glorify God through it. We can live excellently. We can do what we need to do, but also just shed those just extra things, the things that you know that are just kind of holding you back, the things that are causing you guilt if you don't do. And we're going to talk all about that. So here are some ideas that I have for you to help you to create that slow and good holiday season. The first is that you, as the mom, as the homeschool mom, so as the mom goes, everyone goes. So I'm kind of taking a twist of like a common phrase, but how you go, everyone goes. Are you stressed Are you in fight or flight? Is your cortisol high? Are you just basically running on coffee and some extra fumes? Or have you taken a posture of slowness, of goodness, of peace, and of kindness? Are you exhibiting the fruit of the Spirit? Is that growing in you? Depending on which one, or maybe you're somewhere in between. I think a lot of us fall somewhere in between. Whatever the temperature, I want to say the temperature of the room, the kids can figure out. And if you get up in the morning, you're in a foul mood, even though kids typically wake up and they're in a good mood and they're happy and they're jolly, especially during the holiday season, they will then kind of soak that off of us. And you might start to find that everybody ends up in a foul mood. And to rectify the situation, you need to change your attitude. You need to be the one that changes. And then everybody else, and you just slowly help to redirect them. First by saying, I'm sorry, apologize to them. Mom got up in a bad mood. That was not right of me. I was not relying upon the Lord. Sometimes I don't think this is always an excuse. Just like I had a bad night of sleep. It's just explaining to kids, like, we are human. There are things that are going to cause us. I didn't eat enough for breakfast, or I was up. You could even just say to them, I was up too late scrolling on my phone last night. Can you imagine saying that to your kids? I don't have a problem with that. I think that's a good thing for them to say, oh, because I think that it will help hold you accountable. I know it helps hold me accountable. But in general, how mom goes, everyone goes. So if you are finding that your days are stressed, if you're finding that your days are just in disarray, there's chaos, you're the root of it. You're the basis of it. We need to go to God. We need to repent. And then we need to ask God, okay, fill me with your Holy Spirit. Fill me with wisdom. Guide me how I can redirect this, how I can help to create this place of just goodness within our home. And he will guide you. It might hurt and sting a little bit along the way. That's kind of what sanctification sometimes does. But that's because that's our pride. That's our pride getting in the way of that. And so just say, God, okay, I'm the one that's in a foul mood. Please help me to turn this ship around and to guide it well. So how the mom goes, everyone goes. And this includes dad too. Dad comes home and you are frazzled and you are angry, you are impatient. It would be very difficult to walk into that type of situation and maintain a posture of joy and to maintain a posture of kindness. So how mom goes, everyone goes. Slowing down requires a couple of things, and these might hurt a little bit, but I want you to write these down. Okay, so slowing down requires you having a yes or a no to things and then sticking to it. Deciding, yes, we are going to do these certain things. No, we are not going to do these certain things. And then sticking to it. The Bible says, let your yes be yes and your no be no. Don't be flopping back and forth. That actually really confuses kids as well. And it confuses many relationships. If we say, no, we're not going to do that, and then we show up anyway. Or we say, yes, we're going to do that, and then we don't show up to it. So slowing down requires establishing some boundaries. And this might hurt. This might lead to some people maybe not understanding, but do this in a gracious way. Do it in a way that you are communicating the why to people. You might have just a bunch of little children and your family wants you to come and visit, and you just say, I'm sorry, we cannot do that right now. I have a 3-month-old and an 18-month-old and a 4-year-old and a 7-year-old. It's just too hard. Maybe there's some type of compromise you can come to, but it's okay to establish those boundaries. And if you have a hard time getting those words out, do it with your husband or have your husband do it, whether it's your family or it's his family, especially if it's his family. He should be the one speaking it so that it doesn't look like it's just you saying it. It's a conversation. So this leads into the next thing. Slowing down requires a lot of conversations with your husband. And unfortunately, many years ago when our kids were young, I just kind of decided what we were going to do, what we were not going to do. And I would just tell my husband and he would just kind of have to go along with it. And I'm sure if I had conversations with him, especially if I was desiring a slow and good holiday season, which I wasn't, I didn't know that was a possibility. I thought I had to keep up with everything and everybody. I think he would have said, this is a little bit too much. Because when we started working together on our holiday plans, we got to a point where things were actually manageable. We had some boundaries and we were a united front. And so he and I, just 2 weeks ago, while we were cleaning up the kitchen after dinner, kids were all scattered and working and all kinds of stuff. And I just said, okay, so these are some options. This is some things. There were some things that were important to me. And I was like, okay, this is important to me that we do this. And there were some things that were important to him. And so we worked through that, talked about what does this look like? So we have known for 2 weeks. So this is coming way before the holidays. What does this look like? What does our Thanksgiving look like? What are some commitments that we need to do? What does our Christmas look like? And we haven't quite gotten to New Year's because we just are kind of open to that being whatever. So if that's a big holiday for your family, then that's something to definitely talk about as well. So we've got slow requires a yes and no and sticking to it, boundaries, conversations with your husband, and then communication with your children. Now, if they are all very young, if you're listening to this podcast and your kids are all 4 and under, minimal conversations maybe with the 4-year-old the day of saying we are going to do this. But they're probably not going to say to you, oh, well, we always go to grandma and grandpa's at 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve, right, Mom? They're not going to say that as a 4-year-old. But if you have a 12-year-old and you've been doing that and it just is something that you're not interested in doing anymore, it's too much, whatever it is, have those conversations with your child or children, whatever ages that they are. It might be together. It might be just separate that you're speaking to them because they're of different ages, but communicate with them what it looks like, what kind of traveling you're doing, and maybe possibly explaining to them why you're not doing certain things and giving them plenty of notice, allowing them time to process that, coming back to the conversation if it's something that you have always done. So for example, maybe you've always driven through this one light display and the prices have gone up in extremely high this year or something. I don't know. I'm just going to throw out a number. Say it's like $75 to go through and it used to be $5. And you're like, we don't have that in the budget. We would rather use that for something else. And this is something that your child has really looked forward to and they always remember doing this. Explain to them. Yeah, they'll be disappointed and they might not understand, but that's okay. Communicate with them. We're not going to be doing that this year. It's now actually $75. And these are some of the other things that we could do with that money instead, or just we don't have that $75 and explain it to them. The next thing that slowing down requires is consistently managing expectations. Expectations for yourselves and for others. Okay, so let's talk first about yourself. So managing the expectations for yourself. Are you expecting yourself to make another batch of holiday cookies every single day between, say, the day after Thanksgiving up until mid-December? And you go and make these big, huge platters and you give them out to everybody or everybody on your block or in the neighborhood or maybe 50 different families or something. And you just realize that's too much. Maybe pare it down to what you actually can do, or possibly even just cut it out. Now, for you, it's going to be something completely different. I never did that. But I have had things over the years where I just expected myself to do these things. Nobody else expected me to do it. It was just a bonus and icing on the top. And it's okay to say, all right, I need to manage my expectations and I can't do all of this anymore. Maybe it's I can't do this anymore, but we still want to do it. The kids are going to need to help me with this. We've lived here in this house for 7 years, and I give out like a little potpourri sort of thing, that like a stovetop potpourri for everybody. Not everybody on our block, but just like there's probably a dozen or so families that we've gotten to know. And I was doing it myself, and I was like, wait, why am I doing this myself? And it's pretty much my kids. So I will take care of getting the supplies, and then they will put it together. They will go out and deliver it. So really, it's just me picking up stuff at the grocery store that I'm already at, or maybe ordering it online and getting the cinnamon sticks in because you can't always find them at the grocery store at this time of the year. And then just having everything, setting it up on the dining room table. And that's part of our homeschool. They put it together. They deliver it out. They have a great time. And so that was an expectation I had on myself. But I was like, wait, I don't need to do this all myself. Okay, but then also managing the expectations of others. This could be the expectations of your children, which we've kind of touched a little bit on, expectations of your husband, expectation of extended family, of friends, neighbors, church. And so that could be a whole nother conversation about how to manage that. But you're going to be taking each situation individually with each person. And then slowing down requires you being okay with not doing everything. So we kind of touched a little bit on this already. It's okay not to do everything that you did last year. It's okay not to do everything that you have done for the past 5 years. When evaluating, okay, can we still participate in this? Is this a good thing for us to be doing right now in this season when we are just looking to slow things down and to actually enjoy the season, but also more importantly, be focused on Jesus? Like, are we just scattered too much and we're doing too many things that have absolutely no ties to them. Now, I don't think that driving through a light display is anything that's bad. Those were fun. My kids enjoyed those types of things. And that doesn't mean it's not a good use of your time. But overall, are you seeking to impart the gospel a little bit deeper into your kids, or are a lot of things you're doing just a distraction from that? So one question to ask is, are you participating in this thing, whatever this holiday thing is, for yourself, or are you participating in it for someone else? I honestly don't think that neither of those is right or wrong. I don't think it to say, well, I'm only doing things for myself, or I'm going to be selfless and only do things for somebody else. Participating in something for yourself or someone else, it's good to answer that question. Is this for me? Does this make me feel good to do this? And if you're like, you know what? It's actually I'm going to do one of the 20 things that I would like to do this holiday season. Then go ahead and do that one out of the 20 things. But if you're doing all of those other 19 things on top, then maybe you're a little bit too focused on just yourself. So ask, am I participating in this, whatever this is, for myself, or am I doing it for someone else? Now, we don't have to do everything that someone else asks us to do. We don't need to be people pleasers. I can very easily fall into that camp. And so let's go back to that example of saying we are no longer going to Grandma and Grandpa's house at 11 p.m. on Christmas Eve because it's just too much. We don't get home till 1 or 2 in the morning. The kids are a bear the next 2 to 3 days because of it. And it's just there's a lot of meltdowns, and actual Christmas Day is not something that we're looking to do. We don't want it to be like that anymore. And so Grandma and Grandpa are greatly disappointed that you'll no longer be coming at that time. And so again, you have to go into that managing those expectations and having that conversation and letting them know that we just can't participate in this with you. Could we do something earlier? Or you all, the rest of the family, get together at 11 o'clock at night? Can we do something maybe the next morning? Or can we do something earlier on Christmas Day? And I am drawing that story a little bit from my own experience. Let me just tell you a little bit of a journey that I've had. When my husband and I first got married, his family would celebrate Christmas Eve late on Christmas Eve. They'd all get together at maybe 9, 10 o'clock at night, and it would go till 1 or 2 in the morning. And that was fine when we were engaged and then married. And then we started having children. And I was just like, we can't be out this late. And we just kind of had to, we would leave a little bit earlier. But then the next morning, my family wanted us to be with them, which was 2 hours away. So here we are doing this for a couple of years where we do a late night on Christmas Eve, early on Christmas morning. And once I think we added the second child, or maybe we did that 1 year with the second one, my 2 oldest are born in the fall. So they were newborns at this time. And I think I just said, I can't do this anymore. This just is going to make me a crazy lady. And it was hard because it was hard for my husband because it was just a late night with his family that he enjoyed, a tradition he had always grown up doing. But then it was hard for my family. But we were both giving up something in order to create something for our own family culture. And over the years, it's just this kind of changed. But I look back now and I was like, that was crazy. But you know what? We try it, we see, and then we adjust. So my final encouragement is this holiday season, you're looking for something that's slow and good. It doesn't have to look like last holiday season. It doesn't have to look like the next one either. Look and evaluate what is going to be best for this season, and how can you glorify God, and how can you spread the gospel to others and impart it just a little bit more deeper into your children's lives. As I mentioned earlier, the newsletter, if you're not on that list, go ahead and check out the link in the show notes. And if you missed that link for that download of all the information about different Christmas podcast episodes that you can get all full of all that kind of stuff. I know everybody's excited to hear all about that stuff. That link is also in the show notes, but I don't want you to miss out on any more 2-Tip Tuesdays. So go ahead and sign up for that one. I will be back here on Thanksgiving Day with a Q&A. So don't miss that. Maybe you can listen while you guys are driving to Grandma and Grandpa's house. But until then, have a really good day and go and have those conversations with your husband, your kids, and whoever else you have to, so that you can really reach in and enjoy a slow and good holiday season. Thank you so much for listening to today's episode. If it was just what you needed to hear, would you do me a favor and share it with a friend? And if you would like to connect more, social media links and more are in the show notes just for you. I promise to see you back here real soon.